Hello, good to see you. Today, as usual, we have I have two things to do. First, I need to look to the YouTube camera, and second one, Zoom camera. Fortunately, I can see you on Zoom, so I'm very happy. Otherwise, I would have to talk to this AI, so please don't leave me. All right. Yes, welcome to Zen class this month. I hope you are all healthy and safe wherever you are. As I say, I always don't see you, so it's really difficult, believe me, to talk to the microphone. But anyway, well, I always sort of think as we meet every month. I always when I ride on the train, as today too, when I come here, before coming here to the Zen class, I always think what to say, because I don't want to repeat myself, and it's really difficult not to repeat oneself. And as we meet every month, so it's really for me it's a real challenge to not to repeat myself, but at the same time say what I want to say. So well, this is kind of maybe one aspect of my practice, not to repeat myself. As one proverb in Japanese says, like every day we should have a new face. So it's the same thing. One of my teachers said that if you say the same joke every day, it's not funny anymore. So I always try to find some new jokes about the same thing. So I was sitting on the train, and I always sort of look for an inspiration what to say, and sort of observing people and well, looking around and seeing the scenery and things like this. I don't have a smartphone, so it's I'm privileged because I can see what's happening all around. And sometimes you can see lots of beautiful landscapes. For example, the way that I'm coming here, I take two trains. So one of the trains, I can see Mount Fuji, beautiful Mount Fuji behind the window. Well, not behind the window, but if I see in the far distance, I can see Mount Fuji. So I said, why those people, sitting all the time, looking glued to their smartphones, they miss such a beautiful view. I'm really sad at the time. But at the same time, for example, in the evening, you can see the very beautiful orange sky, and then the Mount Fuji on the horizon. Very, very beautiful. I always like it a lot. But today it's raining, so I didn't see Mount Fuji. But there is one Chinese story I would like to share with you today. As I was sitting on the train, and it sort of popped up in my mind. So long time ago in ancient China, there was a Zen master whose name was Impo, and he was very old. He was like 70 or 80, and he was practicing Zen for all his life. And for all his life, he achieved such a tremendous level of practice in concentration and his training that he performed a variety of supernatural powers and miracles. So at the same time, when you become this kind of person who can perform miracles, or maybe you have some halo above your head, or you shine or something, so then people start to look different at you. Maybe they say, I need to find him on Facebook, or now I want to be his friend on Facebook, and then they look for you, and then they try to sort of they change their view about who you are. And at the same time, it can make a little bit of problems for the students who are your students, who practice with you, because they say, oh, I want to be like him, or why I'm not like him, while I'm not like him. Different kind of sort of problems and confusion. And this master actually realized that it's what is happening. And when he was like 70, he says, he had like this kind of self-reflection moment, and he said, I don't want to make troubles to anyone of you, so I'm going to leave. I'm going to go deep in the mountains and close myself in a hermitage, and that's all. I don't want to make problems to all of you. And then he went to the mountains, and then he found the hermitage, or he built his own hermitage, a hut. And before he entered the hut, he said, he called his students and said, wait, before I leave you, just come here. And there a group of monks came and said, now I'm going to die. And then the monks like, they were sort of amazed. And he said, But I want to ask you one question. Have you ever seen anyone who died sitting? Or who died sort of lying on one of his back? Now, of course I did, and everyone, all the students said, yeah, of course we did. Okay, so I have one more question. Have you ever seen or have you ever heard about someone who died handstand? You know, standing upside down. And then of course monk, dying handstand? No, we don't know. Ha ha ha. And then he laughed. And after 5 minutes, he stood handstand and he died. And when he stood handstand, so when he was wearing his robe, and as you imagine, for example, when you have a robe and you stand handstand, so your robe falls down. So you can see legs and underwear or whatever he was wearing. But in his case, when he stood handstand, it didn't. So he was like wearing the robe all the time, you know, like standing like this, but like upside down. And then, you know, the monks were like amazed, and then, hey, master, what happened? And then he's stiff and dead, basically, standing handstand. So they tried to take him to the cremation place. But when they tried to move him, they couldn't move him. He was like a rock standing on handstand, and he couldn't move. And then they were troubled, say, oh my God, what's happening? And then all the village, people from local village gathered around him, and then they saw this posture, his silhouette standing handstand, actually dead. So they tried to revere him. They tried to make bows in front of him. They spread the news all around the place, because they said, oh, he's so sane. And then his younger sister came, who was a nun. She became a nun. So she came him, and everyone was looking at his legs, because his legs were here, and he was like, oh, you're such a great master. But his sister knelt on the ground, and she was like, hey brother, come on, what are you doing? You've been, you were bothering all these monks all your life, and now even, you even bother them after you die. And then she pushed him like with her finger, and then bam, and he collapsed. And he dropped dead on the ground, and then they took him to the cremation, and that's the end of the story. But what I want to say what I want to say to you is that we often practice because we want to be extraordinary. This was also the motive for the practice in my case. We want to be extraordinary. We want to have extraordinary teacher. We want to be extraordinary. We want to have extraordinary experiences, and that's what we want, actually. And sometimes when I talk to my friends in Europe or here in Japan, so sometimes they say, wow, Zen is so cool. Or they say like, oh, Zen is so sexy, they say. I say, well, what is sexy about Zen? I don't know. But this is what actually when you look at why you practice, well, it's not so, sometimes you can really see that, you want to be special. You want to be extraordinary. Because if it's not extraordinary, what are you going to advertise on your Facebook group? It's easier to advertise we are doing something extraordinary rather than we are just doing an ordinary thing. So it's always like that. And when one of the Japanese Buddhist teachers, whose name was Dogen, when he was young, when he was in his 20s, and he went to China, and then he met his teacher, and then went to his private room, and then they had a talk. And then Dogen didn't know about meditation a lot, so he wanted to ask him. So he took a note, and then he was writing those Chinese characters, and he said, all right, master, what is meditation? Please tell me what is meditation. What is Zen? What is Zazen? And then the master told him, Zazen is forgetting about being extraordinary. And then he said, hey, wow, what does it mean forgetting about being extraordinary? And then the teacher said once again, forgetting about being extraordinary is Zazen. So I came here, it took me like 1 or 2 months from Japan to China, and you tell me that it's all about Zazen, not to be extraordinary? Oh my God. And then he was kind of depressed. And sometimes it happens to us sometimes. Like I often call it like Zazen calendar. We have this like kind of Zazen calendar in our head. And then we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, weekend, whatever. And when we practice every morning, for example. So sometimes, even if we hear teachings about don't expect anything, even if we hear teachings like don't think about becoming kind of special person or things like that. Again, like I know myself, like every evening or every morning when I finish my practice, like another day and nothing. And then you put a cross on your Zazen calendar. And then when you see your Zazen calendar, all crosses, no circles anywhere. Just you have 1 month of crosses from 1 to 30. But this is what happens when we practice. There's always, when it comes to motivation, when it comes to our intention, we always have to check why do we do it? Why do we do it? Like there is one more story about one more person who became a president of the country, and he became president of the country, but he was a very devout Buddhist, and he had tattoos on his arms. He had a shirt with "I love Buddha" or "Zen is cool," whatever. And then all his room was in posters about Zen. He was listening only to Buddhist music. When he was going to the cinema, he was going only to see the films about spirituality. And then he was a vegan and all these things. And then he learned that a great master, Zen master, is coming to visit the country. And then he said, all right, this is a really great idea. This is a really great chance for me to meet him, because I'm powerful president. I sponsor temples for monks. I print out Buddhist text. I go to the Buddhist teachings. I do many lots of good things. And then I need to ask this person, what I will have because of that. And then he met this Zen master. So the Zen master came to his room. So he prepared the room, hang some calligraphies there, put the Buddha statue, of course, one more because he already had one or two, I don't know, and then burned incense and cleaned up the place, and then sit and said, so what I'm going to have, what I'm going to have because of that. And then the Zen master, he was already like 100 or 102, so he looked like a turtle, and he was like half asleep, and he said, you're not going to have anything because of that. So I spent like 30 years. I spent all my money for spreading the Buddha Dharma all around the place. The only thing that I do in my life is just sitting in Zazen all the time. I do nothing else. My wife left me, my kids left me, my dog left me, everyone left me. My neighbors don't want to talk to me because they think I'm strange. And you say I get nothing out of that. So what do you mean? And this is a question I leave you with. All right. So if you don't want to leave, please let's have a sit together and see how extraordinary we are. Okay. So I will explain for you how to sit in that we call Zazen, or as I say, just sitting still. I see Vivi on the screen, so I don't know if you sit for the first time, but let's try to have this beginner's mind and build our fundamentals, because it's very important. Sometimes we skip it and we say, I've already learned it. Now give me a next one. Yeah? So no, let's just go back and really feel if we really are grounded in our practice. It's really important. So when you sit in a formal position, when you sit in a full lotus position, like I'm sitting now, so you have both feet on your left foot on your right thigh, and then the other one here. If it's too difficult for you, can have half lotus also is also okay. But what is most important is that you feel really settled and you feel this connection to the ground that is beneath you. So it's like we forget about levitating, but we really come down to feel very grounded in where we are. So that we don't put any, or we don't add any extra to the word ordinary. So we take the extra part and we just become ordinary in a way that we are grounded, and you feel safe and feel settled down and feel protected and feel taken care of in this position. So spend a little while. If you sit in half lotus, in full lotus, doesn't matter. but try to feel how much you feel actually, how much safe you feel, only on the physical level of your body, without looking without looking for any teaching, without looking for any sort of words to hear, but just really sort of look within and see how much it is enough to really feel fine without any extra sort of decorations, when you just feel settled on the ground. Sit settled, grounded on the ground. So please take a while and really bring your consciousness and in and see how you feel. You have this feeling tone, all right? And then make sure your chest is open so that we don't have this smartphone, Facebook, Instagram position, but we are open, but at the same time natural. So not sort of stressed about looking good or something. Not these things. All right. So check how you feel. So you have breath in your belly, I hope so. And then your ears are in the same line with your shoulders. You don't feel, your throat is open, so you don't feel like you don't sort of look like that, but really it's natural. So you can move your jaw. You don't feel any constrictions here. It's really, every time you want to move it, you can move it down, left, right, in all directions. And then you let your eyes fall down and you breathe through your nose. And before we start, I always say it's really, really good to sway a few times, even like 1 or 2 minutes, to the left and to the right. So we always sort of skip this part, and I will sit now. But really, when you make it a part or a set of your practice, it really influences the quality of your sitting. So if you sit alone at home, I really recommend it. But even if you sit in a group, so you can have like the group swaying, everyone is swaying, being bound, 30 people swaying together, very nice, all right. Okay, and then put your hands on your lap, left hand on your right hand. Okay, all right, and feel if you see or feel or check if it feels soft, both in your mind and both in your body. Your breath is coming in, coming out. You can smile a little bit. Okay? All right. So let's spend about 20 minutes sitting together in silence. put your hands together and make a bow. Then if you are sitting in a formal position, you can put your hands on your knees, and as we did in the beginning, sway a few times. Left, right, left, right. Shoo. All right. Okay. And again, I have another cross in my Zazen calendar because if nothing happened, I will try next time. Anyway, thank you people on YouTube for coming to this month's Zen class. It's really nice to see sit with all of you. It's the most beautiful thing in the world to sit in silence and share the silence together. Although I talk too much, so forgive me. So hopefully see you next month on the 9th of November at 4 o'clock in Japan. So calculate it to your local time and see you soon. Thank you very much.